What is up, y'all? It is your Normie Sensei Master Country here with Normies and Nerds. Look, Shang Chi was absolutely epic. If you haven't seen it yet, no worries. This is a spoiler-free reaction. We're going to be going in just talking about things that we enjoyed about it, things that you can be hyped to see about it. And yeah, it's time to go back to theaters and enjoy a Marvel movie, an epic time in the movie theaters. Make sure you drop a like and subscribe to the channel here. This is only going to be about a 10-minute stream. I just want to give folks something that they can watch very quickly before going into seeing Shang-Chi themselves. I am fresh out the movie theater, maybe about an hour or so removed from it. So let's just go ahead and get in. There are a few points that I just want to touch on that I really enjoyed about the episode, about the movie, that I am still feeling the same way I felt when I walked out of the theaters, and that is with a huge smile on my face. So make sure you drop a like and subscribe to the channel. We are on the grind to 250 subs. Mike MCU Porter, what's going on? Tim, what is popping? What's going on? I'll do a little bit of Q&A at the end of this stream. If you are in the replay, say what's up to me. So first things first, I just want to touch on one thing that really stood out to me, and that was maybe halfway through the movie. It's just the different styles of kung fu movies that we get put into one. Shang-Chi gave us about, I would say maybe three that I can remember off the top of my head. Three different styles of kung fu movies in a very short amount of time, and then wrapped it up at the very end with an MCU style movie, which still was very much in tune with the culture, with the Chinese and kung fu culture, but they wrapped it up to make it feel like an MCU film. So like I said, you go through it, and I think that's one thing that really sets it apart in the very beginning, is that you go through it and it doesn't feel all the way like an MCU film. Like, it has the elements there, it has the sci-fi, it has the action, but it still feels like a kung fu film in different ways. So like in different genres of the kung fu, and I want to relate it to things like when you're watching an Ip Man movie. Ip Man is a different type of flow of kung fu movie, as well as when you look at, say, Jet Li's Fearless movie. That film, there's a bit of that element there, with that type of brutalness in the martial arts there. And then you have your type of style of, say, the Jackie Chan style of kung fu films, where it's very slapstick and a little bit funny, but they mastered each one of those perfectly, and they made them all blend and make sense in the story. And then to wrap it all up with one of the more bombastic MCU moments that I can recall. Like, honestly, the finale of the movie had me feeling similar to what I felt in Endgame in a bit. Well, a feeling that I haven't felt since Endgame. I will say I didn't get that feeling watching No Way Home or watching Far From Home or Black Widow. So that's just one thing to touch on there. My next point here that I want to knock out is the action. Through all forms of that kung fu, through all forms of like the kung fu film that I talked about, the action was absolutely epic. The action in it was absolutely epic, and it was spot on, and it was something that was not lacking. You got a ton of action scenes. I mean, I counted, and I think I counted like 4 or 5 action scenes in like the first 45 minutes when I was in theaters. So the action was there. The action is nothing that's slacking. Like I said, it might be one of the more action-packed films that we get in the MCU. Shit, that is since Infinity War. All right, and then and the one thing here too as well, one of the last things is everyone owned their role. The actors, let me give them a shout out here. All of the actors in this movie owned their roles, knocked it out the park. Simu Lee killed his role. He's Shang-Chi. He will be like being the man in the MCU. Like, I cannot wait to see him interact with other characters. Shang-Chi killed it. Tony Lee. Tony. I'm sorry. I don't want to mispronounce his name, but he plays Sean. He plays a Wen Wu, otherwise known as the Mandarin. He absolutely stole the show. He absolutely stole the show. You have to just see it to experience it. All of the other actors, the female cast they have in there, uh, Michelle Yeoh, Fala Chen, all of those folks they have in there playing the female roles, killed it. Straight up killed the aspects and knocked their characters out of the park. Next, I want to talk about the pacing. The pacing of this was actually pretty good. There were not a lot of dull moments. Now, we do have to get to the parts where they're talking things out. But I will tell you that the pacing is there. The pacing is there and it matches and it really this was one of the first times like where I really missed. I was like, wow, these MCU shows aren't bringing what the movies can bring because the pacing in it was there. It was just a constant roller coaster. So the last thing I want to talk about here, because if I talk about anything else, it's killing me not to do any spoilers or anything like that. So we will be doing a spoiler stream, and that's when I'll be getting more into the chat. Like I said, I will pay a little bit of attention. We'll answer some spoiler-free questions in the chat, read some spoiler-free comments in the chat. Any moderators in here, I have it set on subscriber mode, but if anybody comes in here and drops a spoiler, block them from this part, block them from this channel, and I'll be keeping an eye on that as well. But the last point that I want to make here, and I'll probably have to eat my crow a little bit, is that this movie has to be seen in theaters. This movie reminded me of what theaters was like. This experience here reminded me of what seeing a Marvel movie in the movie theater was all about, and how essential it is to enjoying and experiencing this Marvel stuff. Like, there were moments in this movie where, like, I laughed. I don't cry during movies, but I felt the emotion. I laughed. I was just absolutely blown away by the visuals. And I don't think that those visuals could have delivered if I was watching on my TV. I have a 70-inch TV in my living room. I don't think those visuals would have delivered. The sound as well. Sound is something that's also slept on when it comes to the movie theater experience. But the sound design and the sound in there was epic as well. So you have to go experience this in theaters. I'm going to be honest. I don't want to sound like negative, but I do live in a bit of the country. Like, I only have like in the city that I went to, I drove 30 minutes to go to the movie theater, and there are 40,000 people in this city that I went to go see the movie in, and it just didn't. It wasn't anybody in there. It was 6 of us in the movie theater. So that is a little bit of a disappointment. I've never been to a Marvel opening show I've never been to a Marvel movie in an opening weekend where the movie theater was not at least 80% full. There was only 6 people in this movie theater. But regardless, that had nothing to take away from the movie. The movie itself was straight up amazing. All right, the movie itself was straight up amazing. And I suggest everybody, if you're watching this, if you're on the fence watching this, and you just wanted to see some reactions or what have you, first off, if you're just popping in here, make sure you drop a like and subscribe to the channel. If you're just popping in here and you don't know whether or not you want to go see it in movie theaters, say you're questioning whether or not to go see it this weekend, I will tell you, go see it this weekend. Enjoy it. I'm probably going back to watch it. Like, right now, I can't get my wife to go because my wife is pregnant. And whenever she has this baby, like, we are going to the movie theaters to see it because it is absolutely ridiculous how great this movie is. And she has to experience it. And I think people have to experience this in theaters. And honestly, man, like, going back to it was something that, before this movie, I was one of those folks who was like, I can watch it from home. I can watch these things from home and not miss anything. But no, like, I didn't even have popcorn. I didn't have my usual icy. I did none of that. But I went in there and enjoyed the experience for what it was. Even the previews. Bro, I will say, like, the Eternals preview. The Eternals trailer that I've seen multiple times never felt like it did when I watched it in theaters. I am more excited to go see Eternals now in theaters. The Dune trailer. The Dune trailer that I saw was ridiculous. I am so hyped for Dune at this point because seeing Dune in theaters with their trailer was epic. So and I'm not saying that just to gush about it because I can't necessarily say the same thing about the Venom 2 trailer that showed I didn't get that same feel that I got from. I didn't get that same feel that I got from the other two trailers by watching it on the big screen. It still felt like it did when I watched it on my cell phone and on my computer screen. So maybe that's something that could be streamed from home. But just some of the trailers that were there were epic, and just go see this movie in movie theaters. You will not be disappointed. I'm putting this movie in the top five. Honestly, I had to go look at my list, think about things that I've like enjoyed about it, and think about things that could have been a miss. But coming straight out of the movie, like my top two in the MCU are Infinity War and um Winter Soldier, and this movie may be top three, definitely top five. I will say that. Like, and I'll probably stick to that for a while because it was just that great. It was just that great of a movie. So I'm gonna go ahead and go through some of these comments. Make sure you hop onto our next video because in about 5 to 10 minutes after this stream, I'm going to be doing a spoiler stream. How many of you all in here have already seen the movie? If you've already seen the movie and you want to have this spoiler discussion right after this, I'll be hopping into a spoiler stream with Green Bear, and we're going to be just talking, gushing about the spoilers, talking about the moments in that there. If you can't make it, I understand, but your boy can't wait to talk some of these spoilers and get it out because I am, like I said, I've not had this feeling since um since Avengers Endgame. I have not had this feeling since Avengers Endgame. All right, so it was just a very different movie, and it was a movie that was different in a great way. It's very different in a great way. Like I said, I'll run through these again. The different styles of kung fu movies that they put in there. You had like 4 different styles of kung fu movies in there. They blended that in perfectly. The action again was epic. Everybody completely owned their role. Completely owned their role. The pacing was great, and also to just the theater experience. You had to be in theaters to experience it. I feel like, and I'm so glad they did not release this on Disney Plus because I would have watched it on Disney Plus instead of going to the movie theaters, and it might not have hit me the same way that it did. Seeing some of the things that are in there, seeing some of the things they do in that movie, I'm not sure it would have hit me on a smaller screen as it did, like it did in a bigger screen. So that's something to take into consideration. Just go see it this weekend, and make sure you drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you know when we're streaming, and then come back if you have seen it. Come back in a couple of minutes if you have seen it, because we are going to be going all the way in with the speculation, spoilers, post-credit scenes, a bunch of nerdy stuff to talk about. I will say most of the movie you go through is not related to the MCU, but when you get to the end, there it is. All right, there it is. When you get to the end, you get your tie-ins to the MCU. But this is a perfect, like, hands down, probably the best origin story. Hands down, the best origin story movie that I've seen. Hands down. I will rank it there. That if you want to take out the Avengers films, if you want to take out sequels, because Captain America Winter Soldier is a sequel, but if you want to take out sequels, best MCU origin movie out there. And that's hands down. Absolutely hands down, best MCU origin movie out there. So let me hop in the chat, and then I'm going to get Green Bear on the other stream. Mike Porter, what's going on, bro? Thanks for dropping in here. Tim, how is it going, my mans? How is it going? Glad y'all enjoyed it. We'd love to see it. You will see it, bro. You have to see it. It's amazing, man. It's amazing. And Mike Porter says it was incredible. I thought it was a piece of art for sure. Mike Porter says sometimes I didn't feel like I was watching a MCU movie. That is facts, Mike. It felt like it, but they still had that flavor when it came down to the action. But between the action, it did not feel like it. Coachella Costa, what is going on, brother? The fantasy was incredible, says Mike. Mike says I give it a 10 plus. Yeah, I give it a 10 out of 10, man. 10 plus for sure. Rello 2 times was popping off, man. Coachella Costa says the movie was flames. Mike Porter says the action and humor, the fantasy elements and the story, the acting and the CGI, just a quality film. It was like a saga. It really was. And again, the CGI was flawless. That's a great point, Mike. The CGI was flawless. Like there were times when I was watching the CGI, and it was like, man, where was this at for Black Panther? Like honestly, the CGI was flawless. It worked because it felt like they didn't try to do too much. It was a little bit practical, but at the same time, it was flawless. CGI was absolutely flawless. And again, no spoilers in here. And moderators in chat, make sure that you can make sure that you guys are watching. All right, for spoilers for my moderators who are in here. It's definitely a must see. Marvel Maniac, how's it going, brother? How's it going? Theater experience is a must see for the movie it is, Mike. Marvel Maniac says, I wish I could go see it. It sounds like a great movie. Man, I wish you could go see it too, man. Screw this Rona, bro. Screw this Rona. And honestly, like, man, this was the perfect movie to come back to from the Rona. So hopefully you get to go see it in theaters soon. If not, it's worth a plane ticket to the States. I would say that. It's worth a plane ticket to the States. Tim says, man, I would love to see it, but it's kind of hard right now. Oh, no, man. I hate to hear that. But yeah, the Dune trailer was great. The Eternals trailer was great. But then again, I think one thing we did pick up from this, I'm not going to harp too long about it. One thing that we picked up from being in theaters, being in the pandemic and watching things digitally, is that every movie doesn't need to become, like, majority of these movies do not need to be in movie theaters. Honestly, I feel as if Venom 2 can be a day and date release. I can watch it at home. I'm not sure I want to go to theaters to watch Venom 2. There's another movie that showed in the in the previews. I think it was called Dear Eric Hansen, and it's one of those movies that felt like it could have just been a Netflix movie. So some movies are gonna fly. I think that the MCU and things like Dune, they will be the movies that be able to survive in movie theaters. But this might not be enough of them to keep the movie theaters alive. So I wouldn't call it an all-out comeback for the movie theaters, but it was a great experience watching this Marvel movie there. I will say there were a couple of times where it's like, man, I wish I could, like, if I was at, it was a point where I was like, man, I could see myself pausing it right here if I was at home. That's something that I did come across. Not gonna lie, I'm glad you're saving me for the spoiler stream. Yeah, Green Bay, I wasn't gonna do that to you, man. I wasn't gonna do that to you. It doesn't hurt the movie too much, box office wise. I hope it doesn't hurt the movies too much, box office wise. Our two biggest cities, Sydney and Melbourne, are on full lockdown. Oh man, that sucks. That sucks. And I heard didn't it film over there too? So it sucks that the people over there where it filmed at can't go see it. Mike MCU, Dot Views, what's going on, bro? Thanks for dropping in here. Just got back a bit ago. Man, it was epic, wasn't it? It was epic. And if you're new, if folks who are new dropping in here, make sure you drop a like on the video. We got 9 people in here and 4 likes. What's going on with that? Drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel. Like I said, right after this, in about 5 minutes, I'm going to be bringing Green Bear on the channel on a different stream. I'm going to separate these videos. I'm going to do a different stream and stream there, okay? I most likely see it on Disney Plus before our theaters open back up. Oh, that sucks, man. That sucks. Vito, what's going on, bro? You watching Titans? It's cool, man. The digital artists are getting so good going forward. Tighter every film. The graphics were very tight in this film. It was very tight. I really love this movie, said Mike Porter. Yeah, man, it elevated up there for me, man. Like I said, I think it's early prediction. Like I said, I have to really go through it and like take some time to calm down. But like the way I'm feeling right now is top 3 MCU. The way that I'm feeling right now, it is top 3 MCU. Here's the thing. I honestly right now I'm feeling like it's a little bit better story wise than Captain America Winter Soldier. A little bit better than that. The graphics are a little bit better. The action is a bit better, but the all in all impact that Winter Soldier had on the MCU, I'm not sure that I can push that down. Okay, so that's why I'm saying top three. I don't think that it is. I don't know. It's a stretch to say it's better than Infinity War. I don't think I can go that far. But just story wise, man, it was an epic movie, and the action wise as well, ridiculous. I got to go back and see it in IMAX. Yeah, the next time I probably go see it, I will probably go see it in IMAX. I might have to drop some money on that. I was hoping for a No Way Home trailer, but Eternals was good enough. My number one is that right now. Yeah, I was hoping for a No Way Home trailer as well. But yeah, that Eternals trailer was good. But yeah, Ashton, I did fuck with it. And Ashton, if your friends want to go tomorrow, please go, bro. Please go, man. Please go. It's a must see in theaters, and you have to go see it, man. You just have to go see it. Curious about the box office. My theater wasn't packed, and I'm in South Florida. Yeah, man. Like I said, my theater only has 6 people in there. I went to the 8 o'clock showing with 6 people. That's never happened before for an MCU film, period. Like, I don't always go see it when it drops, but every time I have gone to see an MCU movie on a opening weekend, it is never that empty. And even the weekend after that, it's never that empty. Like, I'll say, like, the theaters, I went to go see Black Panther maybe like a month after it came out in my hometown of Martinsville, which is far smaller than the theater I went to go see it in. And the theater like that I went to go see it in is not as popular. And there are more people to see that Black Panther there like a month later in that smaller theater than there was in the theater that I went to go see it today. So I hope it doesn't impact the box office, but I can't see how it won't. Like, I know in big cities it's sold out, but there's only but so many big cities in the world, right? Who knows? Maybe it did good. Also, today's only Thursday, just the beginning. It is, man. Yeah, I think I'll go tomorrow. Yeah, go tomorrow, bro. It is an epic movie. I think we're gonna get a lot more emotion with every project. This had moments I loved. It really did. Kendall, I really like the look of the Aquafina character. Were they cool? Did you like them? Um, the Aquafina character was okay. She wasn't funny, and I don't find Aquafina funny, and that's just me. Some people might. Aquafina wasn't funny. There were some other moments that were funny to me. Some of the more funny moments to me were like some of the fighting scenes, like some of the fighting scenes, like when it was more of the Jackie Chan style fighting. That was funny to me. But it didn't touch there too. And also too, I don't want to speak out of place, but something that this movie hit on was the Chinese culture, not just being in China, but also the Chinese culture as far as Chinese American culture as well. Um, it was just a very good blend. All right, just a couple more comments. I'm gonna get out of here, and we're gonna get Green Bear on. This will be my first time back at the theater since The Force Awakens. Dang, that's a minute. I just think she looked really cool. Now Aquafina, like, her comedy wasn't that good, but she did do a good job when she needed to in the film. I will say that. I'm not gonna get to spoilers, but Aquafina wasn't a useless character if you ask me. But at the same time, it's feeling like why are they like they're just working hard to keep her in the film and in the franchise. All right. But yeah, hopefully word of mouth will get more people out of there. Yeah, they do have more time to get there. And like I said, hopefully we get more people in there this weekend. Look, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. Just want to do a quick spoiler stream. Went on a lot longer than I spoiler free stream. Went on a bit longer than I thought I would. But come back, 5 more minutes. Go ahead and go over there. I already have the stream set up. Go over there to the other stream. We are going to be doing a spoiler breakdown. So if you've seen the movie, let's come in there and talk about it. We're going to be having Green Bear in the discussion as well. So it's going to be a good time. So if you've seen the movie, come over there with me. If you have not seen the movie, but you don't care about spoilers, come over there as well. It'll be a good time and a good discussion. I am your Normie Sensei Master Kunch, and I will see you all in a few minutes.